Hello and welcome to this episode of Black Talk Radio News. I am your host, Scotty Reed, broadcasting from behind the enemy lines of USA Inc. And in this episode, we are going to be debunking the BS. There's a lot of BS that goes across social media, and unfortunately, especially as it pertains to this coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people are losing their lives due to misinformation that they have been shown on Facebook, and it's just very, very sad. So, I always am down for, just trying to get people correct information. But here's a cynical meme that has been circulating on social media. As you can see, it say, looking for that mandate on free cancer treatments because it saves lives. And so what they're trying to play on is the fact that the coronavirus vaccine here in the United States and other places in the world is free at the point of service, meaning at the wherever you go to get your injection or your shot or your jab, as they say, for the vaccine. It's free at the point of entry, but it's not free. Taxpayers pay for it here in the United States. So it's not like it's really, really free. It's just free at the point of service. And so I guess for non-taxpayers, because they're in poverty, it is free for them. But these people are being real cynical when they share these messages. They are not being, because you've seen a number of these memes. Why isn't, for example, insulin free? Or why isn't all prescription prices lower than what they are? Why aren't these life-saving medications aren't free? But we live in the United States, and many people that's sharing this, number one, you call it socialism. That you don't want universal health care. You call that socialism. Now, plans or policies like Medicare for all, universal health care, where health care is free at the point of entry or the point of service, meaning at a hospital, at a doctor's office, because we're all chipping in, like crowdfunding health care in the United States, all the taxpayers are. And so a lot of people, y'all call that socialism. It's evil. You don't want to do that. But then you come out with these memes. Well, when are they going to mandate this since it saves lives? Or when are they going to mandate, this life-saving measure? Let's not pretend we don't live in a capitalist country where it's all about profits. It's all about capitalizing off of diseases. That I'm speaking of the pharmaceutical industry. And the pharmaceutical industry, it's all about capitalizing on the diseases by coming up with cures, and only those who can afford it. So as a nation, as a country, the United States, along with most European populations or nations, is free. They have no lack of access to these life-saving vaccines. So let's stop being so cynical. I mean, if you really wanted these life-saving measures to be free, you had an opportunity, did you not? Certainly you had an opportunity, because all you had to do was, in the Democratic primary in 2020, was roll with Bernie Sanders, who that was one of his signature issues, healthcare as a human right, Medicare for all. We say to the private health insurance companies, whether you like it or not, the United States will join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a right. All Americans are entitled to go to the doctor when they are sick and not go bankrupt after staying in the hospital. So again, we had that opportunity. His plan is still up on his website when he ran for, Democratic nomination for president. Some of the key points of that legislation: create a Medicare for all single-payer national health insurance program to provide everyone in America with comprehensive health care coverage, free at the point of service. Next point, no networks, no premiums, no deductibles, no copays, no surprise bills. Medicare coverage will be expanded and improved to include dental, hearing, vision, and home and community-based long-term care. That's like hospice inpatient and outpatient services, mental health and substance abuse treatment, reproductive and maternity care, prescription drugs, and more. Stop the pharmaceutical industry from ripping off the American people by making sure that no one in America pays over $200 a year for the medicine they need by capping what Americans pay for prescription drugs under Medicare for All. Now, let's not forget this is an issue that's being debated in the news media right now, meaning, well, actually it's being debated in Congress. You got the Arizona Senator, what's her name, Kristen Sinema, who is blocking legislation that would reduce prescription prices here in the United States. I mean, this has long been an issue that Bernie Sanders has championed. And guess what? That would include cancer treatments, chemotherapy. Okay, it will be capped at $200. So I just really don't like the cynicism and the hypocrisy of people who don't support such programs. Now, all of a sudden, because they're against a vaccine mandate by employers, by the U.S. government, by state governments, by cities, municipalities, for all their workers, and then act like you care about cancer patients being able to afford treatment and mandating that they get this treatment. You don't. And you know, speaking of Democrats, obviously, you know, they had an opportunity to vote for such a plan, vote for such a candidate with a bold plan to challenge Trump in 2020, but they was riding with Biden. You know, it seemed like Bernie Sanders was going to capture the nomination with those early states, but once they got to South Carolina, the home state of one Democratic Representative James Clyburn, who gets one of the top recipients of pharmaceutical money, he was riding with Biden. You know, because Biden isn't for Medicare for all. And, you know, he was with President Obama and helped pass that Affordable Care Act, which a lot of insurance is still unaffordable. And if you do get one of those $10 health insurance plans from the health exchange run by the government, what are you going to get for $10 a month? Is that going to pay for your prescription meds or treatments? No, it's not. But we were told, you know, by the Democrats, especially the corporate Democrats, that we need to be riding with Biden. And although some people say it was some election shenanigans going on with the Democratic primary in 2020, just like in 2016, but not to that extreme, you know, we stuck with what we have. But let's not be hypocrites and keep acting like, you know, we didn't have policy choices. And even though these policies poll very well, you know, like Medicare for all, that's not translating into votes. Or there's some election shenanigans going on. And for those that be riding with Trump and the Republicans, all they did for the past 4 years, from 2016 to 2020, while Trump was in office, is try, and not just on a national level, but at the state level, we had these states filing lawsuits to declare quote unquote Obamacare, which is really the Affordable Care Act, unconstitutional. But Donald Trump didn't have no kind of plan for those on the right, those MAGA people, and, you know, traditional Republicans. Y'all don't support Medicare for all because y'all say it's socialism. It's socialism. And when Donald Trump had an opportunity to present his health care plan to the people, we got a big old book of nothing. A big old book of nothing. So let's stop being silly, being hypocrites, and let's work on electing candidates and that will support universal health care, policies like Medicare for all, whether they be Democrats or Republicans. But just because you're against a vaccine mandate because you don't trust the science, don't come up with these hypocritical, condescending memes where you're talking about, oh, I'm looking for that mandate on free cancer treatments. No, you're not. No, you're not. All right, so this has been Scotty Reed with an episode of Debunking the BS. And If you would like to support future broadcasts, and not only for Black Talk Radio News, but you want to support the entire Black Talk Radio Network and the other work of the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit, look in the description of this podcast or video and make a donation today. This is Scotty Reed signing off. Peace and blessings to all.